Seema Malhotra.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak in today's debate because the future prosperity of our country, our regions and our nations is at stake. Mr. Speaker, I will be voting against the Prime Minister's deal tomorrow for two main reasons. Firstly, on the government's own analysis, it will make this country, every region and every nation poorer, and that is not what people voted for. It is set to give less opportunity to our young people than we grew up with. The economic assessment of the Prime Minister's draft agreement with Brussels estimates that the British economy will shrink by 3.9%, equivalent to a loss of £100 billion by 2030. Trade barriers could equal 10% of the value of services trade. That means that the biggest sector of the UK economy would suffer to the tune of more than £44 billion a year. Secondly, it is a blind Brexit. We have no idea what the future will look like. No one leaves their home on the promise of a great new home with no guarantees of where it is, what it looks like, how many rooms it has, or what condition it's in. But that is what the Prime Minister is asking us to do, like an estate agent who then scarpers when you're left standing with your suitcases. The political declaration gives no certainty or clarity about the direction of our future relationship with the European Union, and it is a gamble that I will not take. Mr. Speaker, hundreds of residents and indeed businesses in my constituency have contacted me over the last few weeks and months, young and old alike. Businesses report stockpiling, concern for the future, perhaps not the most immediate future, but the medium and longer term. They should be planning production, not planning employee leave during April, May and June while they work out what the future looks like. 60% of those who have contacted me back a people's vote and a further 20% to remain in some form. Only 10% say that they should vote for the deal or leave with no deal. Mr. Speaker, all too often I find myself scratching my head in disbelief about where we have reached and the kamikaze attitude of this government on no deal. We for generations have had an assumption of progress, a promise as a nation about what the next generation should have and that they should do better than the last. But we find ourselves now breaking that promise. We have a government set to take our nation's prosperity backwards while turning to the country and saying that this is what you voted for. And contrary to the sunny uplands of the most eloquent speech of the member for North East Somerset, we know that under such a deregulated free market future that many hard Brexiteers will look to, the rich will get richer and the poor will see less and less of the wealth of their nation. Progress is not something that we can take for granted. It is something in politics that we have a duty to fight for and to protect. But Mr. Speaker, time is running out and we have choices to make. It would be my preference to remain and reform, and I would support a second referendum between remain and a deal as agreed by this House. If we are to leave, then it should be leaving in a way that delivers on the referendum, but with the least damaging economic impact. A single market and customs union solution, a common market 2.0, as a base from which to build our future relationship.